start recording right now because you know how people say they like the ASMR stuff. So I'm gonna drink a glass of wine. Hold on. Did you mute yourself?
Yeah, I don't
No,
think.
don't. We ain't muting. No, you're
Oh,
not muting.
I did the mute for the. DJ did the mute on the intro last time.
No,
I ain't
no.
want to.
This is
I had to like
my intros start how I want them to start. It's a good day.
Yeah, you got the ASMR. I don't
Let y'all,
think the
let
ASMR
y'all.
sound like that. It's like.
No, I'm gonna bite the pearl. So here we go. Oh,
That's it. Hey, that's it though. Hey, if you do that and you get like a mic that's got a little bit more hyper.
Yep. Well, I could turn it up, but I was like, one episode I was really loud versus over them. So I'm trying. I think that I got my nice little middle ground. I don't seem too loud, right?
Nah, you sound.
Okay,
you sound
good. So, with all that being said, welcome back to the No Tech Talk podcast. I am super excited for this episode for a lot of reasons. You know, I do a little small banter when I come on here in the beginning. Last week was amazing. And you probably, know who this guy is if you watched last episode. If you've seen or heard last episode, it's Jaion. He gonna get to him in a second. But it was super amazing. It was kind of a pivot point for me for sure, as far as like editing and YouTube. And I spike, because I took. I don't know if you noticed, Jay. I took my time with the promotional thing. I mean, I gave everybody they shine. It was a whole like thing. And so I still got to put DJ on there soon too, but I did, but I got to give him his time as well. So like TikTok, I'm on TikTok now if y'all care about that. But I'm getting a lot of love from TikTok. I think my highest one now like 700, which is like, oh my god. But I've gotten a couple of emails back saying, yo, we appreciate the professionalism. We see you growing. And a lot of times, and this is not a motivational episode at all, but a lot of times people say that when you start something, you want to have everything perfect, have the right mic, have the right lights, whatever. And I'm still getting a lot of good. I'm like a 200 plus on like my first episode, and I hate it. It's good and bad, right? But I didn't like the episode obviously now because I was in my closet. It was a weak mic. It was terrible, but it was me. I didn't know what it was. And now, even now, I feel like I'm in that middle ground of, okay, what is no tech talk? And I say all that to say, the topic today is ADHD. Dun, dun, dun. Gotta put some. And we're gonna cover a little misconceptions about it. If you and obviously my lowest episodes, or besides the financial one, shout out to DJ, was Jay's therapy sessions, because nobody want to hear some guy cry or talk or do whatever about his feelings. But I don't care. I'm putting it out there. People listen to it. I've gotten feedback from it. I've had two guys specifically, one here and one guy in like Florida or something. They said, hey, thank you, Jay, for talking about it, for being a Black male talking about it, going to therapy. And so what I tried to do was give my perspective firsthand, the no tact on the only way Jay can, the no tact way, and let people know what I was going through, my thoughts behind it after I left. A basic tip, like don't go in the morning. Don't take that 9 o'clock appointment, bro. That is a bad idea. Go after 12 for sure. Another misconception, I don't really think it's a misconception, but for me, like at first I thought I wanted a Black male veteran therapist, and they're out there. That's not too specific. But my therapist, she's a super cool, I don't think she's too old, maybe her 40s white lady, about 4'11", and she dope. And she don't care. And the whole point of a therapist is to have somebody that's completely neutral. Anyway, I brought Jaion on here. Obviously, I wanted to have him on the episode podcast anyway, because it's my boy. But because we talked a bunch about ADHD as well and how we suffer. I want to say suffer, but deal with, living. You can start talking anytime you want, but it's just, I wanted to bring you on here, man, because I never had a conversation about it and felt like somebody got me until we talked.
Right.
And so, and you remember, I'm like, oh my God, you get it. Like, like it was like, bro, where have you been? And you were like, yep. I remember the whole time, like, yep, right. As you do. And because it was new to me. And so not to get too deep too soon, but I went to therapy not wanting any pills, not wanting a psychiatrist in general, not wanting any of that. I just wanted to talk about my ish, And so one day I'm like, man, like she really ain't said nothing to me, you know. And so the next time I went, I'm like, okay, hey doc, well, whatever. I ain't gonna obviously not gonna say her name, but hey, like talk to me. Like, what do you see? What's going on? What do you think is going? Whatever's wrong with me. And she's like, nothing's wrong with you. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. But she's like, well, I definitely see a lot of signs of ADD or ADHD. I'm like, never heard that before, ever.
Right.
And so I go down this entire rabbit hole. I'm not gonna tell the whole story till later, but I'm trying to give y'all like a brief synopsis before we get down into it. I go into this giant rabbit hole of like, trying to figure out myself, who I was, who I am now, and I think that we owe it to ourselves to figure ourselves out because we think we know it ourselves, but we don't. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of want, huh?
I said that's really what it boiled down to.
Yeah. So what was it like initially, I guess, for you? I mean, talking too much, so you might press.
I'll say this. I'll start at the very beginning. The first time that I remember that I was brought to that conversation of me having ADHD. I'll never forget. I was in the 3rd grade.
Mm.
You don't know what ADHD is. You don't know what ADD is. You don't know what that is in the 3rd grade. I had no clue. Now these days it might be a little bit more common and kids may know. They may use that as a crutch. But when I was a kid, I had no clue. And so one of my teachers told my mom, like, hey, look, you might want to, get him checked out, but because I can see the things that go within that diagnosis that he does. And I think it would benefit him to have that diagnosis, not necessarily to be medicated, but to have that diagnosis so that
for sure
you can make that accommodation. Well, typical Black parent, they responded the way that most Black
my
parents.
son ain't got nothing.
No, he ain't. No, how dare you?
He's just like everybody else. Yeah.
He fine. Ain't nothing wrong with him. He just need to sit his butt down. But it was like, yes, he does.
Yeah.
He needs some help, And so, we went through life and, and I did fine. But I probably could have done better if I would have had that knowledge and that probably extra assistance. Like I said, not necessarily the medication, but just that extra assistance that can come with that in order for those accommodations to be made,
The extra tutoring, time to study, organizational stuff.
All those things that can be taught to me that weren't because of the fact that there was a lot of pride involved. And, and I never blame my parents for it because they were only doing what they knew. And so, you got to think about it when they
What about when you were growing up and you kind of became your own person?
I'd say the time that I made the decision for myself, I was actually in college.
Okay.
So I had completed high school and
what was your GPA? You remember?
No, but I'll say this. I applied myself way less than I should have.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the issues that I had was that high school wasn't super hard. The only real struggle I had academically was like math. Math was like,
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
it didn't make sense. Like I was like, okay, cool. I got the, 1 + 1 is 2. But outside of that,
once you start adding letters
and stuff, I can't roll with it. Like, hey man, why are we doing that? I thought this was math. It's not English.
Yeah.
I don't need this. And y'all throwing me off. And so, like I said, I made it through high school. State of Alabama, if anybody's from Alabama, the Alabama Advanced Academic Diploma, all the stuff that sound good. The only reason I got
don't mean nothing.
My older sister got it. So my mama like, you getting it too? And I'm like, okay, whatever. It don't mean nothing. Yeah, it's still get walk across the same stage as everybody else. You don't get no check when you leave school.
They went, oh my goodness, you went to a magnet school in college. Nobody care.
Right, exactly. That just means that I had more homework.
Yeah.
They expected more out of me on a daily basis.
I mean, the argument can be made that, okay, you might have more opportunities. So it might be like a shop class or something like that too. But unless it's like your passion, then it's not really, I don't think it's beneficial, that much.
Like I said, I don't feel like my advanced academic diploma put me any worse or better situation.
Yeah, me neither.
It did once. Because I mean, I went to school and same thing. When I got to school, I still had the same struggles that I had in high school. They didn't change.
Yeah.
And so once I got to college, I think it was my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there is a disconnect somewhere. Cause like, I battled between like, I got to study in a quiet environment. I got to study in a loud environment. I got to have different little things going on. Like I battled between all these different things.
That was for me. So for me, I had to have things going on. So like, if I say I was writing a paper, I had to have like music playing in the background, and I had to be like, cleaning or something, because it was so much at once. And so, and again, I'm trying to fight the stereotype against it, because you looking at people that have done their research that did not want, because you talking about people using it as a crutch. Didn't want it, didn't need it, right. Thought I was good, whatever else. If anything, I thought I was lazy, whatever. Right. But have done every test you can find on Google, have been diagnosed officially by a doc, psychiatrist, whatever, right? And I mean, the little test, I don't know what type of test you had, but I'm looking at the little dot or whatever, and it had a little thing around my head. I told you about the whole thing, and and the lady was like, "You failed in true fashion." That's what she said. But legit, I was trying to pass,
right?
And I think that's where the breaking point is when you realize that person is sincere and trying to do something, and it's just like, man, like, okay, if it's 10 people in the class and 8 people getting it, one guy just lays in me, I'm really trying to get it. Like, what am I missing?
What am I missing? Right.
And for me, and we're you kind of more chill. You still like hype when you need to be, but like for me, I'm like, I'm always on 10. And so like, I'm mad, I'm frustrated. I'm like, why am I not getting this? So, and I don't want to speed past, we get to college in a second. In high school, I wanted to be a library aide. I wanted to be I was a library aide, I was an office aide. I did every job to get me some type of whatever in the school, because I needed the help. I needed people to be on my side, whatever. Right. I remember my 12th grade year, I'm begging the principal, like, please, and I'm an office aide, like, please put me in algebra 3, because that particular year they was putting all the seniors, again, in the magnet school or whatever, right? They was putting everybody on pre-cal. And I said, I will fail.
Right.
I will not graduate. You talking about a guy who's done everything for the school. I'm in the choir. I'm in the drum line. I was an artsy type. Everybody expecting sports to come out. I didn't put no. So I played tennis, but I was. I was doing the
rest of this stuff.
Yeah, I played chess and everything, bro. I was everywhere but the basketball court. But she's like, yeah, I understand. So, because the lady, she wasn't even like there for the most of the time. The algebra 3 teacher, like, she was kind of big. She had like hip issues and stuff. I was like, yes, it's just busy work. I could just slide through. Because the 10th grade year, I mean, my mom, she probably got me every tutor under the sun. Bro, I went to what's that place? It's not Hooked on Phonics. What's Sylvan?
Sylvan, yeah, Sylvan. Sylvan.
I went to Sylvan Learning Center, bro, for a minute, but until they got too expensive. But she's like, yo, like, I'm not getting mad. And it's for all you people out there that got whoopings, bro. Like, my parents quit giving me whoopings, man. That's how bad it was. They just gave up. I can see it right now. And my dad left-handed, so he gave me that wop with the belt. He old school, right? So I remember him just like, man, you just gonna fail. Like, bro, like, it was.
This ain't gonna get it.
It's only so much I can do, and I'm telling him I'm trying, but nothing clicked. And so you kind of filled in the pieces for me, like, yo, like, that's why I was like questioning my whole life. Like, I was mad at my parents. I knew they didn't understand it either. They probably didn't think about it. It was just so much. Right. And so when somebody says, hey, I got ADD, ADHD, and they're sincere about it, I don't really think it's like this happened the last year type thing. This has been an ongoing thing, and I'm finally putting the pieces together.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, but you hit it right on the head. It's like, we really, once you figure it out, because I think too, I mean, part of it is that you do have some people who like really try to take advantage of that whole situation and that whole system as it relates to,
Yeah.
using that as a crutch. And I think the thing that really made us click when we had that conversation was like, I really wanted to succeed. Like,
Yeah.
I really like I so bad wanted to be good at math. And I think a part of it was that like some of my friends, which I don't understand, like how kids these days like having like dumb friends. That never
Yeah.
made. But it's like, all my friends, we all smart, intelligence, that was the cool thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when I'm sitting here, like, I'm taking, all my friends, we all in the same math class and everything. And like,
Yeah.
my friend, he making a A or a B on the test. And I'm like 70, like,
Man, at least
I
you
got
had
I
70s.
really made like a 69, but the teacher,
Yeah.
that she looked out and gave me a few extras of, she like, hey, look, if you would have
Partial
done,
credit.
you would have
Yeah.
got all of it. And I'm like, oh, thank you, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I'm trying. It's like, I really want to be good at this, but it's just not happening for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not happening. And so I think too, like, um, I just, like I said, I just look at throughout my life, like that moment once I got diagnosed in college, that
Mm-hmm.
moment I did the same thing. I kind of like went back through, like, dang, like,
So what was the process of you getting diagnosed?
okay, so I basically, I was like, look, I called my mom. I was like, look, I need a
Some
sit.
ain't clicking.
I need
Yeah.
to talk to
You was
somebody.
still on her insurance, right?
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need you to find somebody for me to talk to, set it up. I'll come back. At the time I was still in Huntsville, I was like, I'll come back
Okay.
home, but I I need to find somebody down there. I need to go talk to somebody. I got to get this figured out because
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt like I was at such a crossroads that I'm I felt like I was kind of at the point where I was like, I might not finish college.
Oh wow.
I really felt like if I don't get answers, I might not finish college. And so um once I went down and she just gave me, like, from what I remember, she just gave me like a sheet to fill out and we just had some conversations and stuff. And she was like, yeah, I mean, basically kind of the same thing. She was like, yeah, you got it. And I was
Yeah.
like, I thought so, but that's your job to tell me that I got it. But but it was like I said, it's one of them things where it's like, you look at kids and it's like, this kid is bad, or
How old
this.
were you then?
I was 22, maybe
That's
20.
what the psychiatrist is telling me. They say it's a lot easier to diagnose as a child because they're just like, they don't really have life hitting them for real.
Right.
But as an adult, the fact that you can be diagnosed as an adult is it's with a little bit more severity because you have work, you have deadlines and you have school, you
Right.
got relationships, that's
Right.
real stuff. And you notice it a little bit more. But most people, obviously, especially black males, don't want to even go talk to anybody to begin with. So, and this is the kicker. And I'm not trying to speed through this. We'll probably circle back a bunch of times, but one of the things she told me, because she said, well, you're probably drinking so much because you're trying to slow your brain down. And I'm like, yo, that makes so much sense. You like,
But I think and then it's like in that moment, it's like, was you at the bar when I was there? Like,
man, but
somewhere, and
no,
now
this
like,
is
oh,
the
I
thing.
remember.
I'm just thinking, man, I'm just being social, whatever. Something I just do, had a stressful day at work, whatever. She's like, no, like, I'm telling her because, again, the reason why I started this podcast, and you go back to the earliest video, the earliest episode, is because I could not sleep. I got to a point to where it took me like an hour, 2 hours to go to sleep because my mind is still like, I just woke up and drink a cup of coffee. It's at 100 miles a minute. My body's physically tired, but my mind, and I tell my wife all the time, like, I hate stuttering because and okay, like now, right? It's so like,
Right now.
because I'm trying to tell so many stories. Like I said, I hate stuttering because we'll talk and I'll have three different thoughts at the same time about one particular topic, and they're fighting for space. They're fighting to see the light, like that
I
movie.
think it's funny too, because like if you really look at it, like even in this conversation that we have, and like
Yeah.
if you got a thought and you got something to say, and it's like, oh yeah, and you want to say it, but you like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna let them finish. I'm gonna let them finish, but I still want to say it. And I'm the same way. I'm like, yeah, I want to say, me.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's not that we trying to like over talk each other or compete with each other. It's just
We get
that's just
it.
where we at. We right there,
But
and we
to other
really,
people, we're being rude, we're too much, we're too extroverted, whatever else. I'm like, y'all kick rocks. I'm gonna be myself anyway. But so that's the thing we talked about as well. Okay, I got to a point where, again, the whole point of this is a pivotal episode. I mean, it's crazy.
right.
The whole point of this podcast is because people saying, Jay, you ain't got no tact. I mean, it's weird because they can, you acting crazy. You too. No, I grew up around the older generations anyway, so I guess that was why. But Jay, Jonathan, you got no tact in these environments. You say, wear your feelings, and it used to be a bad thing to say, hey, you wear your feelings on your sleeves. Now it's like a flex, because Drake said that thing one time.
Right.
Now it's a flex. I wear my feelings on my sleeve. I'm in tune with the earth. No, but back then,
Right.
bro, you need to, hey, you a man, you a boy, like, grow up, chill, whatever. And that, I wouldn't say it scarred me, but that it altered like my mindset about people and about how I was supposed to be in this world.
How you supposed to move?
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, well, how am I supposed to act? And when I would try to be different, I try to be the thug. I try to be the nerd. I mean, I'm naturally like an anime guy anyway, but like I went through all these phases trying to figure out who I was. But I just said I got to a point where I got frustrated. I remember turning red. And I always used to say in my head, I'm red as a fire truck. It was weird. It's lame, but like I said, like, I'm so frustrated because I don't know how I'm supposed to be. All I know is how to be who I am. Because when I try to be like everybody else, I mean, everything in me was telling me no.
Right.
And it was like, no, you were meant for greater. Right. And I'm not saying we got superpowers or we meant to be famous, but I feel like we meant to be famous. So we got superpowers.
I'm saying that we are and that we do. I'm definitely meant to be famous.
Man, we going, yeah.
I'm definitely meant to be famous, and I'm definitely meant to be like a zillionaire. Mm-hmm. But we're not there yet. We on the way though.
We had to figure it out. I'm eating pretzels. I don't care. I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's going down.
I had to get this done. So again, I'm not gonna backtrack. I know we're gonna be everywhere today, and it's the whole point of the episode. So
y'all see we all over the place, and now you can be like, they medicine.
Yeah, they might have that for real,
right?
Okay, hey, mine wearing off. I took mine at 12. And we'll get to the medication in a minute.
Yeah, I took mine earlier today because I had to take a test, so I burnt mine up while I was taking it 5 hours.
And you know the difference, okay? So we'll get to that in a second. So along the journey. So now we're dealing with this is a question for you. I already kind of said my piece as well. So now okay, cool. You've been diagnosed. You didn't talk to a doctor. This isn't just you thinking. This isn't like some little questionnaire you did on Google. You've like, okay, this is serious. So where is your mindset you leaving the doctor's office?
I think.
And how do you move on from there? Yeah.
My mindset around leaving the doctor it was kind of like I knew it.
Yeah.
Like I knew it. You know what I'm saying? But it was also like, okay, like where does this take me now? You know what I'm saying? Because it was that moment I knew it. It was that moment of like running back through, like, even just I think initially I just kind of started in college, like, dang, I probably could have done better in this class had I had the knowledge of that at this time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if I would have at least even started college with that knowledge. Now I'm looking at myself as a whole different preparation wise, preparation for tests, studying, all these different things. I'm approaching it different. I'm approaching it very different as it relates to, how I get work done, how I plan out these different things. And I think if, like I said, in this, like, as it went on, I went further back, like, dang, I probably could have been better in math had I,
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that going back to high school, one of the things that, and I'll never forget, I had a teacher in high school. She was a math teacher as well. And she was a advocate for saying that she had ADD.
Mm.
She was an advocate for saying that she had ADHD. But I think the way that she packaged it, we didn't realize that we was really learning about it. She just like, hey, look, you know, my ADHD is a little bad right now. Y'all work with me, forgive me.
Yeah.
But it was always, what I'm saying? So, but we saw it in her, but it was also like, dang, like she understands,
Herself. Yeah.
she was probably, and every classroom gonna have every kid gonna act up in almost every classroom.
Yeah. That
I
was
mean,
me.
it wasn't like she didn't have any disciplinary problems at all, but she also understood how to maneuver through those situations from her teacher training and from her personal
Mm.
experience of the fact that, okay, cool. I know that such and such, they may not be diagnosed, but they act like I acted at a certain point. So,
Yeah.
hey, if you can't sit still, go stand over there and use that table and do your work. Stand
Yeah.
up, do your work. All I
Mm-hmm.
need you to do is get it done.
By any means necessary. Yeah.
I just need it in my hand before you walk out of my classroom. And so she was that accommodating. You got other teachers that they don't understand that, so they control level it drives them up the wall. They got to be
Mm-hmm.
so in control. No, sit in your desk and do exactly what I told you to do. And it's like, I promise you I really want to, but I can't.
Yeah.
They keep making me stand up. My brain keeps making me go over to somebody else's desk to ask for help because I don't understand, and every time I try to
Yeah.
ask you, you explain it the same way, and I appreciate you, but it's not helping.
At all.
And so I think that was kind of my three
Mm.
different little times where I was like taking it back, like, dang, okay. Because I mean, elementary school is elementary school. Like, you can really, I'll say, when we was in school, you can
Yeah.
really kind of like make it happen. Now these days they kind of throwing them through and they ain't really learning nothing either. But
Mm-mm.
you could still make it happen like elementary school. Like, they was really giving it to us, and we could still pick it up and put it down. But like I said, from fourth/fifth grade on, it
Yeah.
really kind of started to get a little dicey
I
because
went back to almost every grade in my head. And I'm gonna tell you the first story I thought about leaving. I was at Golden Corral. We used to go to after church in my dad's church, we used to go to out to eat.
right.
Baptist church, go out to eat, whatever, right? And
Everybody,
so I remember me
Alabama.
just sitting there, and it's so funny how I went straight to this story in my head. I maybe was like 11, I don't know. Um, but I remember sitting there because we were so big at the time, like you had to wait. So how this table gonna go, this table gonna go, everybody gonna talk, make sure everybody good. So I was just moving around, acting a fool. Like just acting a fool. And my dad was like, he was like, all right, now you keep it up. We can go to the bathroom. So we go to the bathroom. Hey, you already know what's gonna happen.
Right.
That's the belt coming out the pants. So y'all don't know. But I kept going, obviously. So he was like, all right, let's go to the bathroom. So, bro, I made the biggest scene ever, right? I'm like, no, no. I'm like, I remember the little popcorn chicken they had. Like, I'm eating, I'm good. I mean, and you like just like you laughing. He started laughing. He was like, man, sit down. I was like, I don't want to go to the bathroom. I don't want to go. But it was fun for me.
Right.
And I thought about it because I wasn't the biggest dude in high school, so I had to use my mouth. Had to be witty. Was forced into a corner. I said, I'm gonna either be a super lame,
Right.
which is probably super cool now. Anyway, it's on the podcast, but but I had to find my niche, in high school. High school was brutal, but that was my thing, was running my mouth. Even talking to girls, talking to the principal, the teachers, that was
Right.
kind of my thing. And so, but it became my thing out of necessity. And I realized that back then I'm thinking it's just me, it's how I'm getting by. But I look back, I'm like, bro, like I told you, my whole life is a lie. Like I went through like a 2-week stage. Like, who am I?
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, looking in the mirror, like,
And I said that so when I first started taking Adderall, we're just gonna say Adderall. Um, I did not know, like, because it was such a difference. And obviously, medication, I'm trying to give y'all like the whole holistic view. Like, you start something, you gotta get used to it, your body gotta adapt, blah blah blah. So like at first I'm like losing my mind, like, because I'm taking it, I'm like, this is completely different. And not to sound crazy, but it felt like I felt like Split, yeah, movie. I think it's Split, right? And people were fighting for the light. I hate to sound, it is what it is, but like, it's the only way I can describe it.
I was the same way. So I like, I know.
Yeah, and so when I took it though, like I think my major side effect was just like the anxiety, a little bit of anxiety comes with it, and it's like minor food, but I the first day I felt like, if I could just explain it over the podcast, I felt like all of them went outside, but they were just standing outside the door.
Mm-hmm.
They was just waiting. And the second day, they just walked down the street. Third day, they was gone. All right. So, and I didn't want to tell my therapist this, but I didn't want to sound like, I had like issues for real, but like, that's the best way I could describe it, because it's just all these thoughts coming at you at 1,000,000 miles per minute. And people are like, no. And it kind of made me mad too. I talked to one of my sisters about it. And she's like, no, you're fine. You're good. All you got to do is this. I hate people saying it. All you got to do is, bro, I work out,
Right.
I had the edibles, I had the weed before, but still, like, it would help for sure, but not like completely.
Right.
I do all this stuff. All you got to do is meditate. All I got to do is do more of what I've been doing.
Right.
So quit trying to tell me, it's funny how people can tell you how you're supposed to be and what you deal with on a daily basis. Like, they know you like that.
They can't.
It's wild. So that's my whole speed. I forgot what I was even talking about.
But see, I think, I did too, but I'm gonna dive into something else.
We all in the same stuff, yeah.
Right. But I think too, it's like, even when you say, like, you tried the edibles, you tried the weed, and it's like, I think for me, I did too, but it was like, I've never been like a person that
had to
if I
depend
ever
on
did
something.
Drinking was my thing. Like, drinking was, that's the only thing that I knew. Like,
that's because you were cute.
It had nothing.
Yeah, ladies. Yeah.
Has absolutely nothing to do.
Yeah. I'm just playing. You got the boots on right now, ladies.
I'm dead. Has absolutely nothing to do with it. But I think for me, it was kind of like, like you said, like the anxiety, like there's just these different things. And it's crazy though, because like, even as we having this conversation, I'm laughing in my head because you how you made that reference to a movie. And like how you felt like Split. It was like, for me, it was like, I call the Adderall, I call it the limitless pill. Because it's like,
did we not talk about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
that's the closest thing to a limitless pill. Oh my goodness.
But I really feel like it's like this moment is like this awakening. And like clarity. You said, like the first day, the clarity. And it's like the first day is like, all y'all outside that door. And I hear y'all knocking, but I can't let y'all in right now because I'm busy. because I'm locked in.
Gotta be productive, right?
Right. And I think too, for me, it was like I said, going back to it, like I tried the weed before for it, but
who want to be high every day?
But no, this is the crazy thing. Like, and I told you this, I may have, but like the crazy thing about it was that, like, I realized that at this point in my life, the ADHD and how I function, it's literally how I make it. It's literally how I make it. And so it's like, if I take these different things and I try to slow everything down, now my thinking is altered. And now I'm literally having out of body experiences where I'm trying to do these things at the speed that I was doing it, but I can't because everything is altered. Like, I'm literally sitting there, and you know how, like, you writing something and you looking at the paper, but your hand is still moving,
doing something else,
and it's still writing what you're reading, but you getting it done. Like, everything's crisp. It looked the way you want it to. Well, that time I'm looking and I'm reading, and I'm like, man, I'm trying to put in so much faster and right, but I'm moving slow. And I look over at that paper.
It's on weed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Over at that paper, and then my sentence is going at an angle.
Diagonal.
I'm like, what the hell? And so I'm like, this is not gonna cut it. But it's
Mm-mm.
like, but at a certain point, it's like we've been in these moments for so long that when you kind of take us out of those moments, we can't get it done.
No.
When we slow ourselves down to like one
Yeah.
task at a time, it almost don't even happen because we can't like the multitasking side of us
Mm-hmm.
is just so like
Yeah,
it's just
dead.
so us.
Oh well,
It's
yeah. No, it's that's I feel like it's who we are. That's why I was, and even in the quality of my podcast has changed, and how I approach things and how I take my notes and stuff. Like I'm like, okay, I'm way more productive. I'm way like it's streamlined. So like it'd be a lot of good ideas, but what am I doing?
right.
You know, like even at work dealing with all these applicants and stuff. Like, okay, I'm like, oh wow, it's like again Limitless. If y'all have never seen Limitless, you got to go watch it. I mean, it's the oh my goodness. Anyway, go ahead, go ahead.
But I was just gonna say, I think too, it's just like it's us, and we're never gonna like try to take that away from ourselves. But now, with the knowledge that we have as it
We're
relates
aware
to
of
life,
it now.
we're aware of it, and so
Yeah,
we organize our lives to be
around.
successful around it,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just going a mile a minute. And we still going a mile a minute, but we got some organized chaos going on inside of this now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything is still bouncing around, and it's different things happening, and but it's there's structure
They
to it.
taking turns. They getting in line. I always think about what's that movie Inside Out? When you got all them emotions and everything. You
Oh,
seen that
right,
movie?
right,
Man,
right,
yeah.
right.
But bro, so that's where I had to realize it too. So movies like that, movies like Limitless and stuff like that, I'm like, it was like therapy for me. Cause I'm like, why am I crying on Inside Out? And I
Right,
talked about that a couple episodes ago about Disney movies being my thing.
right,
But like they get to the center of the hectic life that we live,
right,
and you kind of see yourself in these characters. And now when I watch the movie, I'm like, you know, I'm in it. I'm that kid
right,
leaving the Spider-Man movies, like, you know, trying to get
right.
the web out my wrist. And that's always been me. But people just, oh, he cool. He just this. He just that. He just this. So to get a little deep, I called my mom. I was mad. What? I ain't come at her no sideways, nothing. I was like, hey, like, you know, this is something I probably figured out. And the first thing she said was like, I get it. I see that. I'm like, bro. And but she was honest, you know. She was like, that's just something that, you know, we never, you know, did or considered or blah blah blah. You know, they just want. I feel like at my parents' stage, hey mom, how you doing? I feel like she's the number one fan for sure. So she gonna listen. She might let my dad listen. I don't know. But she they looking back on it, obviously, you know, therapists and whoever, they go to your parents first. That's the root of all of our problems, it seems like. And you know, there was a lot of grace in me discovering like what was going on and for my parents, because they was doing the best they could.
Mhm.
They just knew, all right, go to school, be successful. We're gonna save up for this college fund. You all right now, you gotta join the military because we ain't got no more college fund. You know, like it was
Mhm.
all these things that were happening. You know, if anybody don't know, I got, you know, quote unquote old school parents, a little bit older than, you know, my age group. So I learned a lot of things, but for them, it was just, okay, we just want you to be on your own and be successful. I saw those lights pop up with them, like and with the basic training, because now they're saying like, hey, he's on his own, he's doing this thing. I think I bought the iPhone 4. I graduated basic training, had a little couple $1,000, and I bought the iPhone 4. That was like a big moment for me. I got off on mama's cell phone plan, you know, and they wanted to see me succeed there, but there's nothing past that.
Right.
It's whatever you want to do, be successful. As long as I got a roof over my head, I'm not acting crazy. They cool, but at this stage for us, we want more. And
Mhm.
it's and so I'm thinking about future, obviously future, present, past, and all of this is hitting me at once. I'm like, man, okay, well, what if I gotten married to the same person? Okay, what if I have been to the same schools, or I've had the same relationships, or I've had the same experiences? If I
Right,
wasn't just trying to cope and be the talkative guy in the room, what if I was just shut up? What would
right.
have happened then? And I remember with my wife, we're at Applebee's. It's like day 4 or something, and I'm like, I don't know who I am. I'm crying. I'm like, we were like the 6th, Long Island iced tea happy hour, and I'm leaning over the table. I don't know who I am. You're the only person I can trust. This is crazy. I don't know. She's like, it's okay. Tiana, like she cool,
Right.
but it took that. It takes an outpour, and preparing for this episode. I think that, and this is, if there wasn't a motivational part of this episode, is that with anything that we do, it takes an outpour of ourselves first.
Mm-hmm.
They have this thing in basic training. They say, hey, we're going to break you, come as a civilian. We break you down to build you up as a soldier. They ain't hitting you or nothing, whatever, but they getting that civilian, lazy, whatever mindset out of you
Right.
to make you better. And so everybody is listening to this right now has an excuse for something. But to start, okay, you got to let all them demons out. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what we're talking about. We had to okay, be aware of something, go to rectify the situation, and like you just said, make a game plan to move forward.
Right.
Apply your issue here.
Right.
I
mean, like you said, accept it and acknowledge it. Those are the first 2 steps at anything. Like even when you talk about Alcoholics Anonymous and narcotics, all these self-help groups, the first step is always going to be acceptance / acknowledgement. So if you really look at yourself in the mirror and take a step back, because I mean there have been moments too where like you said, that talkative kid and all that other stuff, it was another point in my life, around that ADHD, ADD time where I realized that a lot of my anxiety that I have, I'm looking at myself and I'm like, no, I'm a happy person. I don't got anxiety. But it was I'm in these rooms and I'm like, I feel like I have to make a joke. I feel like I have to make people laugh and be happy.
You just fill in the space, fill in the
You're
time.
right. And it's not like, because I got a lot of people that have throughout my life been like, yeah, man, you ever thought about doing stand-up? And it's like, no. It's like, why would I want to do that?
I think you'd be good though. Not trying to be like that.
But see, I think
naturally funny though. Like you got that air about you. Like you're inviting. I don't know.
I appreciate it, but look, like I said, for me, it's a no, because I'm looking at it like, look, let me tell you, I say probably most of my life, the best jokes that I've had was just because I was like, I had at least a small amount of anxiety in this situation. No matter what it was, I could be in the most comfortable setting or the most comfortable room, but I feel like if people aren't laughing or having a good time, and it's not like a serious fault, it has to be that. It's like, hey man, I got to step in. I got to make this happen. Too much, it's too quiet, it's too much silence, people not having a good time, like let's break this ice real quick. Hey, roll from there. And so it was like I felt like I had to be that person all my life, and all of those things are coupled together.
You said the last episode that we're the strong friends, and I thought about that as well. I think that it made us, me and you, the strong friends, because we're trying to fill that time, because we're trying to be the ringleader, whatever. And we the ones that like, oh my God, help me. I'm struggling with this. And no one can hear me. It's like me muting the call right now. And I'm just, and I'm not trying to sound morbid, y'all. I'm really not, but that's the only way I can describe it.
But I mean, like you said, it's like even in being a strong friend, it's like, okay, cool. I don't necessarily know that anybody can help me, so I'm gonna help myself through these lights. Through these moments of being a little bit more talkative than I probably should, but who cares? Like,
that's me doubling down though. So they like, you too talkative. I'm like, no, this is who I.
Yeah.
You probably remember that early on. Like, this is who I am.
Right.
I don't care what nobody says. God made me this way.
Right.
But now, and that's where the disconnect was. I'm like, man, I did all this stuff about speaking your mind, being bold. I just did a thing for church about being bold. It resonated with me, but that was my whole shtick, and it still is. I came back to the light, for lack of better words. It's who I am, but it's just being aware of what I wouldn't call it a downfall, but of what we got going on.
Space that you in, right? The space.
Yeah. And so,
That's
I mean,
yeah.
it was life altering. I took, I think in 2017, probably still one of the best years for me, for sure. The end of 2016, I said that I'm, I, I said one day I went to McDonald's and I got a 6-piece chicken nugget, and it's just super random. I know.
That's very good.
Yeah, I got a 6-piece chicken nugget, and I just grabbed the bag. Okay, cool. Got home. I'm a big fan of table trays. I had a table tray in front of the TV. You know how you get ready, got the pillow and the lumbar support. You know, you ready, got your drink. And of course the fries was cold by the time I got home. So I put it back in the oven, did the whole thing. I opened the bag up and there's no sauce. I lost my mind, bro. And so I vowed at that point, I said, I'm never gonna settle. I'm gonna check the bag every time. I'm gonna drive back, even when I'm comfortable, go get my sauce, demand a new order. I ain't paying for nothing.
Right.
And so from then
I'm just laughing, bro, because it's like we literally are the same. Like if a person ever had a twin brother that was exactly like them, bro, I promise you this him right here.
I'll take it.
Because it's like I'm the same way. Like today, bro, I went and got McAllister's. I had to take, I told you I had to take this 5-hour test. I got to take it Thursday for school. So I went to I got McAllister's, and like I opened up my sandwich because I don't eat pork. So I opened up my sandwich, 2 little skinny pieces of bacon. I just screamed like, I said no bacon. I'm in the car. Like I'm in my car. Like I'm already, and I knew I didn't have time to drive back. So I just like that's the only reason I dealt with it. But I was like, I was upset. Like I said no bacon.
Yes. Yes. It's the little things, man. Everybody say the biggest organization to have start with a single step, all them quotes, whatever,
Right.
It's the bacon in the salad and the sandwich, whatever.
Like I told y'all, I only asked for one thing, to not be on my stuff. And I just told y'all not to put no bacon.
I tell them I'm allergic now.
No, let me tell you, that messed me up one time. I went to PF Chang's.
Yeah.
I went to PF Chang's. Think I got off work, like, yo, I'm finna order some PF Chang's. I'm finna throw down when I get to the ordered it before I left work and everything. Like gave him like an extra like 20, 30 minutes. Like, okay, cool. I don't get out of work till 9. So y'all take your time with this one. Yeah. When I got there, got to the to-go counter. Young lady said, I gave her my name. She said, okay, it'll be probably like another 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm like, okay, cool. I gave y'all a little extra time, but I'm like, it may y'all may be a little bit backed up in here. Okay, cool.
Right.
Man, 5, 10 minutes go by. I look at the clock, like, up. And then 5 turn to 15, 15 turn to 20. I'm like, hey, man, what my order at?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. When you have an onion allergy, we have to like get all new utensils. I said, I never again. Oh boy, they don't. PF Chang's don't play by them allergy whatevers.
Okay.
You better. So if they ask and say if it's an allergy or a preference, you better tell them it's a preference.
Duly noted.
They everything. They gonna go to the back and open up a new box of utensils to cook your stuff with and everything.
Oh wow!
They do not play.
They probably gave you a special place on the grill and everything.
They do not play. So I was like, yeah, never again. That took an extra 40 minutes out of my day. I thought I was gonna go home and eat, and now I gotta wait because I got an onion allergy.
On the what I was saying. The second, so from that point, I got on this journey of self-discovery. I think that I don't know how old I was then, but you get to a point of maturity, you're like, hey, I need more, I need better, for myself. So I started going to the doctor, man, bro. I was doing yoga. You on my watch? Look at this. I've been doing yoga for 59 minutes. Right. I just realized that. No, I started this I was stretching, but I swear I was. Let me turn it off. My Apple Watch finna be lit. I bet you won't beat me today.
All kinds of rings.
64 minutes of working out. Anyway, what was I at?
I don't know.
That's what's up. Yeah, so self-discovery. I started going to the doctor. So like my first one was like, y'all know I'm in the army or whatever. I gotta do an episode about being in the army because a lot of people don't know I'm active duty. I think I'm just some guy making podcasts. I'm like, no, I'm busy, So it's a stigma in the army that you shouldn't go to the doctor because you being weak, whatever else. I was like, forget all that. I started going to the doctor. Um, I'm airborne. If y'all know what that is, I jump out of planes. So I used to. I still am technically, but I don't do it no more. So my lower back was really bad, and I got that worked on. Started taking fish oil, doing the TENS units, all the good stuff, real heavy. So I got that worked out. Then I got in some better shape. Then I started reading the Bible more, and so I feel like I felt like I was procrastinating on my mental health. So then I'm like, all right, ain't enough to fix. I ain't saying I'm perfect, but I was like, I gotta get to this. So I remember another time I'm talking to somebody, and you know how you tell stories about messed up stuff that happened to you back in the day. I was telling this story. I'm thinking it's good, but I started getting in my feelings about this one story with some family, and I'm like, yo, I gotta work on this. I was like, that hurt a little bit too much. So I started with that, and so over the course of next couple of years, I got here. Obviously, that's where I'm at now, and um, I wanted to let people know that it takes time. All that to say, it takes time to figure yourself out. It takes time to. I'm still using the word DJ. I always use the holistic view,
Right.
holistic financial planning. To have a holistic view of yourself, and it took. I think it's a lot harder for men to do that, like you said, with pride and
Black men.
black men for sure. Even going to a doctor, much less a therapist. Oh my goodness. But again, I think it's a flex. I've been telling people that therapy is a flex.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor is a flex because ain't nobody got time and people, I'm gonna get 100% VA from the army. I'm gonna claim everything. That's cool, I guess, if nothing wrong with you. But like, bro, okay, you got 100%, but you can't walk nowhere because you trying to do all this crazy stuff.
Exactly.
You can't jump out of a plane. I mean, you can, but it ain't no, you know, relatable skill coming out saying, okay, I jump out of planes now I want to go work for Google or something. Like, no, it don't work like that, bro. Like, take care of yourself.
Right.
So that's where I was at, man. I had one more point and check my notes. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm right there with you. Like I said, I think it takes time. Like that's the biggest thing, and I think um once you going back to what we said earlier, like once you accept some of those things, um, when you start really walking back through some of those situations, some of those we use the word traumas a lot because I mean the word trauma means different things to different
Yeah.
people. Or the severity of those traumas is at a personal level.
Yeah.
But once you accept it and then you start back walking through those situations, you're like, okay, yeah, I see how this ended up the way it did. I see how we are now here where we are because of these actions. And it could be something that's, it doesn't have to be something that like it's been detrimental to your life or to your career, but it was like something small that you always held on to. You always inadvertently held it over a person's head, they somebody was late to your dance recital and you just like held it over their head, like,
Yeah.
and it ain't got nothing to do, y'all still friends to this day, but it's like,
Yeah.
hey, we finna go out to eat. We finna go to Texas Roadhouse or something.
Yeah.
And they like, you always throwing that, like, make sure you on time because you got a history of being late. And that was probably the only time they ever been late in their life.
That's what the brain does though. Like, it's giving us signs on a daily basis of like, bro, like you might want to fix this. We don't pay attention to them because we make these allowances. We look at social media. No, I'm just a Pisces, man. I'm
Right.
just a Virgo. Whatever. This ain't. First of all, it ain't real.
Not real.
Y'all against it. Y'all can email me. We can talk about it. Fight me. Whatever.
Email him and then he'll email me because I agree with him.
Oh yeah, I'm a CC you in. I'm a BCC. A couple more people. If y'all know what BCC is, you look it up. And I'm a CC you in it as well.
Right. But yeah, like, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the biggest thing in life, like you said, as men, as black men, as black people, as people in general,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of things that we have to look at and we have to like accept. You don't have to, when I say accept, I don't mean that you have to like take it in and just forgive it. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to, it has to be acknowledged. And so the acknowledgement step, once you acknowledge that something is an issue or that it offended you or that it was anything that did not make you feel good,
Yeah.
once you acknowledge that moment, that is the first step. That once you take that step, you'll feel so much better about all the other different things, because you're gonna start processing things. You're gonna start looking at life a little bit differently too. And you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
start taking some of those situations that, you know, like, dang, I've been holding on to this for X, Y, and Z
Years.
years, and it ain't even really, honestly, it really wasn't that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. And so now you're gonna start taking that those thoughts and processes to everything else. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
take that into some of those moments where it's like, you know, I spoke, you know, last episode about interactions with people and people being upset, and it's like, you know, you may be a little bit mad. I'm not saying this don't sit there and don't react, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I mean, it really wasn't that
Yeah,
big.
it's what it, yeah,
Like
it what it is.
once the period get it on the last sentence, it's like, okay,
But
cool,
now,
we're done with it. Like,
yeah.
we're done with it. Like, it's over with. And so
Well, people
I
like
think,
misery. People like being like you said, as a crutch. We like using different things as a crutch. So you find out something wrong with you, and now, oh, now you know what the doctor said, and
right,
you
right,
know, da 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 da. And
right,
I'm guessing this will be my public thing of saying it, you know. But I hadn't really. My boss know because the therapist, she was like, okay, you need two people in your life to like see you on a daily basis. They can attest to see if the medication is working, blah blah blah. So obviously, with my wife and then my boss, I was like, hey, it's a sensitive topic, but I want you obviously see me every day. And he was like, yeah, like this night and day. I'm thinking I'm the same. He's like, no, like you just more present,
right.
you know.
And the thing is like, you the same inside your mind,
Yeah.
but the outside is like,
One day I
you
took two, bro. Because he told me, he was like, try two out, see what it's like, try half, whatever. Yo, if
can
no, to
stop.
me, I felt great. I felt amazing. I felt like if I was on cloud 10. But
Mm-hmm.
to Tiana, she was like, "Oh no, you can't ever do this again." She was like, "No, you." She was saying. She looking at me like I just killed somebody, so I had the blood on my chest or something. I'm like, dang. Um, but that's what it's about. Is before and that's why she always like, you always think you're right. It's not that I always think that I'm right. Is that even prior to this whole thing, I'm having a conversation with myself. And you know how Doctor Strange off the Infinity Wars, whatever, he saw it a million different ways. Only one way worked. I said that's what I do in arguments. If I'm ever gonna bring you any type of gripe, issue, whatever, I've already had this discussion like 20 times in my head. I know what you finna say, and if I'm wrong, good for you. But usually I'm right. It's
Right.
not, but cause I'm not just gonna come with somebody on no BS. Like I'm just
Hey,
I want to make sure I come
man,
correct.
look, it's just, I'm still just dying laughing, because I feel like every time we have these types of any conversation that we
Yeah.
have, it's like,
Yep.
this is literally the same person, bro. It's so funny to me,
It's
because it's
good. It's
like,
good.
people tell me the same thing, like, you always think you're right. And it's like, it's not that I think that I'm right.
I just
And
take the time to
it's
think
not
about
that
it.
I think that you're wrong. I'm not saying that you're wrong,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like, if
Somebody got
you
to be right.
somebody got to be right. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm not saying that I'm wrong either. You
Somebody
know
done a lot more thinking than somebody else. Let's just go with that.
exactly. But I'm telling you, like, folks said, man, you should have been a lawyer. You love to argue. It's not that I love to argue. I actually
Man.
don't like it, but
Mm-mm.
the whole, like, now one thing I do agree with people, like, did you do debate in high school? And it's like, nah, I probably should have, because I would have been good at it. Because I know one thing I can tell people, like, if I can have a conversation with you and I
Yeah.
can be completely wrong throughout that whole conversation, and I know I'm wrong.
But I'm going to
I
still
know
fight.
for
Yep.
a fact I know for a fact what I'm saying is not true, but I can make you believe
right.
that whatever you gonna be like, okay, well, yeah, I guess
I can sell water to a fish. It's right.
Man, hey, to a drowning man. I'm telling you. But it's like, I think for me, it's not even the fact of being right or wrong, is that I love just with, like you said, within my head, I'm running through these different scenarios. To me, it's fun to have a conversation with you and with myself within my head. To like, I could, like I said, I could start out wrong and I could send myself into the right answer because we really wasn't both right to begin with. And now I can get to it because
man.
that's
why I'm such a good freestyler.
Yeah.
I can't write down raps. I'm not trying to flex. I ain't got no SoundCloud link or nothing. I'm just saying, you know, I'm that guy that when I could be drinking or something, I'm that guy in the club to be rapping in your ear. Yo, I'm that guy. Here's what it is. But I was thinking about that too. It's funny. I don't know how you probably didn't even mention it at all, but I was thinking about that. I was like, that's why I'm such a good freestyler, because when I'm saying words, my brain is already thinking of other words to rhyme with that word. And I'm already, it's just a constant flow. I'm used to doing it. I think Lil Wayne said that's how he writes his lyrics. He'll just freestyle and he'll just take bits and pieces and then he'll read off the whole recording or whatever. It's however people do it. Because it seems like that people can even freestyle or they can write. It's like one or the other. They can't do. It's very rare you can do both. Even Drake.
Right.
I still don't think he's the greatest rapper ever. I don't think I still don't think he's a rapper.
That's another podcast.
That is. Okay. We good or what? Did I miss anything?
I ain't see your list. So you know me. I
looked at it, but I think we covered most of it.
Because
that's what it was. So last thing, and we're done. Last conversation, the stigma is, okay, I'm on Adderall. What now? And people are like, when you tell somebody, now they're looking. Now they're looking like, oh, you on that stuff today? Or, you know, you take your so my I guess my coworker found out, and I didn't think it was offensive in the moment. But you know, it kind of. I'm in a small office, so it's like 4 of us in there, so it's whatever. We all good. But we got like an argument or something. She like, you must not be taking your medication today, and I was like, huh, yeah, you know. And we cool,
right?
You know. But my boss got mad. He put me off to the side. He was like, yeah, you good? You good? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm offended, but I'm not. I don't know. Like, it was the first time somebody had like said it.
Right.
Like, it was weird.
Right.
And like I'm out here with a shirt saying I got it, you know. Right. But it was weird. I hadn't told any of my family, and I don't really think they really listen to my podcast like that. My mom does. We talked about it a little bit, so they probably might not even ever hear this. But people look at you different after, you know, and so. But I think we need to expect that. That was my point. You hit the nail on the head when you said when you want to do better, you know, people look at you different. When you try to better yourself at all. When I was clubbing a bunch, oh my goodness, we was out there and for real in these streets.
Right.
You know, you start to try to do better, and hey man, I can't stay out. I'm going at 1 o'clock instead of 4 o'clock, and that's a big difference. It's a whole nother night when you going home at 4 versus 1 o'clock. You know, and people, I started losing friends. You know, trying to do better. So like now, I don't have as many conversations as I used to because I see it coming. You know, you live a little while. I hate to sound like an old man, but you live a long time, and you're like, yeah, I know this is gonna go. And you see people that might be even like all of y'all older than me. All the inner circle is older than me, and but I've had conversations and I've listened to the old OGs and the old heads. Like that's one area of my life where I've like absolutely listened every single time. And I'm a hard learner, but I try to make sure, like, when somebody's trying, like, hey, young blood, hey, dog, let me just pour into you right quick. You gotta listen,
right?
And so I haven't made those mistakes, but people will try to put these emotions and personalities on you that you never had in the beginning with, just because, hey, I'm different, or I've changed, or again, I'm a Christian now.
Right.
I'm trying to make a life change. Well, I knew you back when you was pimping in these streets and you was out here selling drugs and da da da. Like, okay, that was then. Back then they didn't want me. Now I got Jesus, and they probably still don't. Yeah, whatever. But it's just being, my whole point, and I'm done, is being okay with who you are. This just happens to be our thing. Um, I've decided to make this, again. It's still my outlet, for the podcast. If you listen to this episode, you do. You don't. You don't. I probably would never talk about this in real life. This is real life. You know what I'm saying? Face to face.
Yeah, in a more public setting. That's not us, right?
Yeah, and so a guy hit me up today about an episode I did like a year ago. Oh, you just not catching up. I'll see you soon. Towards the end. Exactly. That's how podcasts are. And so this whole process has been extremely therapeutic for me. And again, I wanted to say too, this is my last note. I wanted to thank you, obviously, for coming on, but for being a friend, for understanding me. Goodness, I mean, you like cleared up so much stuff for me. Like it was amazing. But it's when you have somebody that understands what you're going through, it means so much. I'm not being mushy. Y'all got y'all feelings, whatever.
Right. It's facts though.
Like it's facts.
It's facts.
And so I appreciate you.
I thank you for having me on, but I think too, I appreciate you because it's not every day that a person can, once again, last episode we explained how we became friends and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
It's not every day that you can come across a person, make that connection, and then also like continue on with the friendship and like really learn more about each other as friends, and it just like really grow from there. And you don't realize that two people have been in the same city their entire lives and never come across each other's paths, and they've been the same person. So it's like, I'm a big person of, the people that God put in your life, they're there for a reason. Mm-hmm. Everybody say they there for a season and all the other stuff, and that may not be true because some seasons don't ever change with the people. Mm. They're gonna be who they're gonna be, and however maneuvers.
They're constant,
right? Yeah. But they're there for, everybody comes into your life for some reason, and so I really try to. A lot of people, I try to, as they come into my life, I really try to keep them there as much as I can because. Yeah. If their reason and their purpose seems as if it's something that's going to be beneficial to me and to them, because it ain't, it's obviously not just about me, but it's like, if I see, okay, I have something that I can give them too that's going to benefit them that they don't necessarily see right now, but I see the benefit that they have in my life. So I feel like I need to keep them there, and then hopefully eventually they'll see the benefit that I have. But I'll go back to even what you said about like the stigma with the medication and stuff. And I'll say the one thing that I'll tell everybody who's listening, because I know the whole world is listening right now, is that if you are a person that who does not, take medication as it relates to like Adderall and stuff like that, one thing that, and Jay will tell you too, one thing that you got to know is that because you take that pill, it don't make you do whatever it is that you.
No, it makes you normal.
It makes you locked in.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that drive to actually complete,
it ain't gonna do nothing for you. Yeah.
It's not gonna do anything for you. It's not gonna make you get up and go.
Yo, that's what I was gonna tell you. Remember that night you gave me one of your pills?
I didn't know that allegedly
you gave, I'm talking about the fish oil pills. Yeah, one of them fish oil pills.
Fish oil pills.
It sobered me up that night. It was weird. Like I was good, we was all lit and stuff, but like that's when I was like, yo, like I know how people say I'm supposed to feel, but I feel like
right. I feel like I'm in a good place where I can actually accomplish some tasks.
Even that's though some good fish oil.
Man,
My bad.
We fish oil, man. It's good for you, man. It's
It's good
good
for your
for
joints. Like,
oh man,
I,
gotta hey, we gotta find us a fish oil spot. What is it? Nature Zone. I know they
Nature is the valley. It's
nature.
always a valley
Hey,
somewhere
all
in
you
there.
fish oil sponsors, hey,
Come on,
my
man.
boy up, man. We trying.
Everybody's
We need
one
to.
day, one day. Let me check that thing because I'm gonna shout out. I'm gonna tag Just Hilarious in this too.
Yeah, just hilarious. Hey, get my boy on. Hey, just hilarious. Come, we need you on the pod. Everybody wants you on there. You got to check that post because he's on there, and
I'm
everybody
gonna
is like
go.
75,000 people that liked it. I know you
I
saw it.
know at
And
72
then
now.
I am athlete
Mm.
Brandon Marshall. I know you watching too. So, hey man, hit my boy up, man. He gonna
One
hit you.
day it's gonna happen. That's what I'm saying. I'm just trusting the process, dog. I'm being
Brandon Marshall. He's
consistent.
watching right now, bro. He's watching for sure. He's
He
watching.
is. He
Marshall,
is.
come on. Hey, what's up, man?
What up, dog?
What's good?
Hey, I fly myself out, fam. Chill, chill.
Right, yeah.
No, last segment. We're not doing a superhero question. If you want to know what his favorite superpower is, what would it be? Listen to the last episode.
I watched last
Watch it on
episode.
YouTube. Yeah, mine a plug. So the last one is the scripture. I this time I typed in legit ADHD scriptures.
Oh, okay. This is interesting.
It is. A lot of stuff came up. When I looked up the scripture, it was about work for the Lord. We're gonna make that correlation here in a second. But the one that resonated with me was Proverbs 12 and 11. New International Version translation, for those who care. And it says that those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense. Now, they use this verse. What is this? Proverbs 12:11. Let me check. Hold on. Where'd it go? Oh yeah. So it's saying this was a verse that was saying about hard to stay focused. And it says those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense. I'm assuming it was that part. So obviously it's about God chasing, it's about tilling the land. Proverbs is all about being a man, doing what you have to do, what's right and what's wrong. Right. What I took about it, took from it from this that particular episode is so many thoughts are in our head. It's hard to stay focused on tilling the land, working on the land, being in nursing school, been trying to be productive in the army, whatever. Right. But things get in the way. I don't think that we deal with this for just for no reason. I think that everything God does is for a reason. Could be the thing that brought us together. Who knows, right? But I think he gives us these superpowers. He gives us these things that we think are bad or ailments or issues that are forever. Not like a flu you can get rid of, Even my nephew, God rest his soul, passed away last year. He changed a lot of lives by him living. He changed a bunch of lives. He changed his parents' lives, changed my life. And just by us being sometimes is a lot for people. I did another episode called Inspiration Porn. Again, go check it out. She suffered with or she had, I don't know the word for it. I'm sorry I'm messing up, y'all, but she had spina bifida. She's in a wheelchair, and she was like, "Don't congratulate me for getting out the bed in the morning and just going to live and living my life. That's not inspiration. That's just me living." Right. She said, "Be excited or inspired by something that I do." Right. For us, it's like, man, at first it's like, okay, God, what am I supposed to do with this terrible spades hand that I have? I only got 2 trump and they both are 6 and a 7. Right. Like, what am I supposed to do? Right. And again, insert your issue here. A lot of times we think that we're special, or we think that nobody else is dealing with this. Nobody understands what I'm going through. So I'm just going to live in that and let it fester. But no, like, what are you gonna do with that? You know, that's kind of what I took from it. Is like, how am I gonna till my land? How am I gonna not be distracted again, for lack of better words, about what's going on in this world and be successful in what I'm meant to do and what God has called me to do. So that's my thing. What you got?
I agree. I mean, I think too, like you said, it's always an ongoing process. So even when you look at like the reference of tilling the land, like it's you can't just till the land and then it's gonna grow.
Yeah.
You got to till the land, you got to plant the seeds, you got to water it. Like there's still a process that you have to be organized within.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, going back to, like I said, you have to accept or acknowledge that there's a process that has to be completed. Once you accept and acknowledge that there's a process that has to be completed, there's always that image where it says like this is what success look like, and it's everybody think it's a straight line, but it's not. It's it's this, it's that, it's all these different things, it's all these twists and turns, and all these different things that are to us personally a burden or an issue, but to other people that's not their burden or their issue. I think one of the biggest things that I always, and I saw it years ago and it always stuck with me, it was that a saying that said that your emergency is not my priority.
Woo.
And so it's like
savage.
We can't, but we can't take everybody's experience is different. Yeah. So something that bothers you may not bother me.
That's real.
And so, but I also can't tell you that what you dealing with is like, oh, it's okay. It's gonna be all right. Complete this task and this will help you. All I can do is if I can give you something that could probably help you, like, hey, try this. This may help you out because I dealt with something similar.
Yeah.
But the way you package stuff is that if you giving somebody an answer that's that you think is gonna for sure knock it out of the park, and it don't, now they feel a little let down in that moment because you done basically sold them a dream, that can't be fulfilled. And so I think, when you go back to tilling the land, when you till that land and it's time to till the land, and then when all the conditions are right to till the land, you go and you complete that task. But then you also know that there's other tasks that you have to complete. You know that you can't just till the land and receive a harvest.
Yeah.
You got to till the land. You got to plant the seeds.
There's other stuff you got to do. Yeah.
There's other stuff that has to be done in order for you to receive that harvest. And so I think that's one of the biggest things that, social media and all those other things, that when you look at it, it's like everything looks perfect. One of my best friends, him and his wife, they do a lot of social media promotions and stuff like that. And they are, when I say they the picture perfect couple, two children, all these different things, like they're picture perfect, but they also have things that they go through as a family as well. Like that picture is not the representation of the issue. Because I mean, you look at that picture, you think, man, they ain't never had a fight or nothing. But I guarantee you, I'm pretty sure they've had some, some strong worded discussions with them themselves. You know what I'm saying? But those are things that are part of life. But we look at this picture and we take what we want to from the situation, and then we try to apply it to our situation. So we over here trying to jump around these steps.
Yeah.
And now we ain't gonna get the harvest that we thought we was gonna get. We're not gonna get that picture because that picture is not our harvest.
Nope, it's not meant for you.
It's not meant for you.
Fire. Okay, that was good, man. I've been chilling more on these podcasts. Like I'm getting dug in.
Oh, is that what you a little bit, you've been taking a few notes from me. That's what it is.
Bro, for real.
I really want y'all to realize, like, we gave y'all the opportunity to literally sit in on the phone calls that me and him have.
That's a fact.
So
that's an absolute fact.
Welcome in. We may get y'all a couple more, but that alone, like, y'all gonna have to pay for the next one.
Patreon. I'm coming out.
Right. Yeah. Patreon's coming.
I want to say too before we out, just in case I get flagged some on social media, that if you feel like that you might have ADHD, ADD, some type of mental condition, go get help. Go, and it's not like help, but go see somebody. Go talk about it. You know, a lot of times we have these thoughts in the back of our head. We just don't address them. And we are really being unapologetic about stuff that we've dealt with, stuff that we're good with now. We moving on with our life, and it's nothing that has hindered us from being successful. But what happened was the real crutch, the real, what's the word? I don't know. The real bad thing about it is when you don't get help, is when you don't, you know, figure yourself out. Mm-hmm. You know, not to be too deep, but I talk about, if you want to hear some deep conversation, go listen to Jay's therapy sessions. Again, a plug inside of a plug. Yeah. But I'm it's whatever. I don't care anymore. Like, I'm all cards on the table. I'm living my truth, whatever they want to call it in the industry. But this has been probably one of the best things I've ever done for myself in my life, is to talk to people, you know, and to be honest with folks and be transparent and have an outlet for myself. This podcast is my journal. It's my audio journal. It's that walk in the park. It's that workout in the gym. This is my space, and I think if everybody could find their space, then they'd be a lot better off. Right. With all that being said, this has been another edition of the No Tact Talk podcast. This is always a reminder to live life on purpose. Always live with a little no tact in your life, and peace. Yay.